Hello, everybody. This is going to be, again, another test review for our test number 1 for fall 2023. One of the questions we'll be having is solving quadratic equations by completing the square. And if you are taking my class or any of the classes that have completed the square solving quadratic equations, this is probably a good way to do this. I know a lot of people like to use a quadratic formula, which is totally good. However, completing the square is something we want to know how to do. And for my exam, you will need to be able to do it in this manner. So we have our equation x squared minus 6x minus 19 equals 0. Our first step for completing the square is we're going to move that number without any variables onto the other side. So we're going to add 19 to both sides. So here we go. This is the c, we call the c value of the quadratic equation. It's moved over to the right side. So now we have x squared minus 6x. But now, instead of just leaving it, instead of like just having equals 19, we'll put a little space here. We're going to leave a little space because we're going to add stuff to both sides. See, the idea of the equation, whenever you do is whenever you are going to add to the left side, you must add same value to the right side to maintain our balance in this case. And always a good idea to show what's work here. Now, what goes into that space there? Well, we take our b value, with now in this case, again, our equation is ax squared plus bx plus c, because you're wondering, where is these letters coming from? Ax, yeah, a, b, and c. Well, sorry, my handwriting is atrocious. I'm using my finger here. So ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And so we move the c term over to the other side. And now we take the b term. So to fill in, we can fill it in with b over 2 squared. So the b term for the equation, we're going to take that number, divide by 2, and then square it. So our b term is negative 6. So we're going to take our negative 6 and divide by 2 and then square that. Now, negative 6 divided by 2 is equal to negative 3. And when we square that, we get 9. So that is the number going into the spaces. Okay, so we're just going to, remember, keep in mind, it's the b over 2, and we're going to square the value. Now, keep in mind, if you're going to be using a calculator, which you totally could in this case, make sure parentheses around the b over 2 before you square it. Okay, so negative 3 squared is positive 9. And now on the right side, we're going to combine the numbers to get 19 plus 9, which is 28. On the left side, we're going to factor. Now, two numbers that multiply 9 and add to negative 6 are negative 3 and negative 3. But in case you say to yourself, oh, what happens if we get a harder number? Well, in the spots, we're going to take the b over 2 value. You see, what comes down to is on the right side, it just becomes x plus b over 2 squared. That's what the part that goes on the left side, right? And so in this situation, if you remember, b over 2 is just neg 6 over 2, which was negative 3. So we're going to plug in here x plus negative 3 or x minus 3 squared. So this is going to go on this side here. Okay, so our equations could be now our left sides combined, our right side combined, and our left sides factored. Now we have this what's called a perfect square binomial, meaning it's the trinomial itself, x squared minus 6x plus 9, can be written as a binomial raised second power. We'll call it a perfect square binomial. So we're going to, at this point to solve for x, we're going to take the square root of both sides. And so when we have x minus 3 squared, square root of that, the square root and the square kind of cancel each other out as far as exponents go. And so now we're left with just plain old x minus 3. But on the right side, when the idea is that because the fact some number is squared, it could be a positive number, it could be a negative number, because if we square a positive number, we get positive. If we square a negative number, we get positive. So our result on the right side is plus or minus the square root of 28. So we're almost done. Almost done. We got to solve for x, so we can add 3 to both sides. Now, some people on our last quiz were kind of like shortcutting things and weren't showing steps. And I'm going, where does the work come from? So you really have to show your work in this case. I'm giving points for work shown, but you know what? If you make me fill in stuff for you, I'm taking points from you now. So we get 3 plus or minus square root 28, which means there's two answers. 3 plus square root 28. and 3 minus square root of 28. Except one last thing, simplest radical form. Now, simplest radical form means we have to simplify the radical we can. And the square root of 28 can be simplified. You see, in this case, there are two numbers that multiply 28, where one of them is the biggest perfect square that divides into 28. Well, that number would be 4. And 4 times 7 is 28. Therefore, the square root of 28 equals square root of 4 times square root of 7. Now, square root of 4 is 2, so the square root of 28 becomes just 2 square root of 7. And so we could change our square root of 28 into this answer. So our final answer in this case, in purple, x equals 3 plus or minus 2 square root of 7. So yes, you'll have to be able to simplify radicals as well too. For those of you who are like, oh, radicals, yeah, you're gonna have to guys be able to work with those as well too. Okay, all right, everybody. So simplest. So in this case, completing the square in simplest radical form, just use by completing the square only. So yes, if you use quadratic formula, get the right answer. Yeah, I'll give you 1 point. You know, but unfortunately, the method's going to be completing the square only. That's the method we're using. Okay. So hopefully this is helpful. Remember, in this case, we have to make sure our equation is in the form ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Watch out for some of your work. I saw in some of the quiz people were kind of mixing up the signs, and these small things, are just so damaging to everything you do. So you have to be very careful and show your work. Be careful in this case. All right, move the c term over to the right side. Make those spaces. We fill in the space with the b over 2 squared. We combine the right side and we factor the left side. Okay, but for those who are not factor, it's just x plus b over 2 in parentheses squared. Get the square both sides. We solve for x, and then we have to make sure we simplify. First off, there's plus and minus with the radical, and then we simplify the radical in the simplest radical form. Okay, I hope this is going to be okay for you guys. Definitely expect to see a question like this on your test number 1. And for those who are not my class, but hey, doing the same thing, hopefully this is helpful for you and able to follow along. Please leave a question or comments in the comment section below. And if you stuck around to watch all of this at this point, please make sure to give this video a like if it was helpful to you, and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already, and turn on notifications so that we alert when new videos are added to the channel. And yeah, we appreciate it and all. And I'm just a math teacher who is just trying to help out their students and any students who want to learn. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Take care and be safe.